Today I'm here to review episode 10 of The Walking Dead titled Home. Now, I will refrain from doing any recaps. I want to talk about some of the scenes that I've seen in this episode. Now, let's talk about the first scene that caught my eye. The first scene was the beginning scene, and we see Rick on top of a catwalk, and we see him use his binoculars to look in the prison yard. And we can see that he's looking at Michonne, and we can see that Michonne is stuck up in the flipped over prison bus. Also, then after that we see him start to hallucinate, and his subconscious starts to kick in again, and he starts to see Lori again in a white wedding dress. Then he begins to run from the prison, and he runs in the prison yard, and he even goes as far as to run on a bridge that got water under it, just because he thinks Lori is on that bridge. And this right here shows you that he's still suffering about her death. But the biggest part to me, what caught this scene, this might be crazy, but I noticed this about Michonne. I realized Michonne has a lot of pride, and I respect her for that, because I remember Rick telling her in the previous episode that once she get healed up, he wanted her to leave the prison. But from what I've seen in this episode, I think she did leave the prison, but I don't think she left the prison as a whole, in terms of leaving out the gates, like completely out the prison. I think that she decided to live up in the flipped over prison bus, because when Rick is staring at her, she does have her katana blade next to the prison bus. Now, I know a lot of you gonna say, well, she's probably being the watch person for the prison. I don't think ain't no in the world that girl's being a watch for the prison. Michonne is living in that bus. I'm telling you, she's living in that bus because Michonne remember what Rick told her. And the only reason she didn't leave the first time was because she was tired. Because remember what Herschel said. She was tired. She was sleeping in the prison. He said she was tired, and she was also suffering from a concussion, possibly from the governor when he took her head. He was slamming it into the wall when they was fighting. He said she was suffering. So I think once she woke up, she decided to go outside and just live up in the bus, because Michonne is no stranger when it comes to surviving on her own. Although I feel that it's wrong for Rick to do that to her, it's really wrong because that's unhuman. But still, she decided to do her own thing, and that right there makes me happy for her. She's standing in the prison yard. But now it's going to change now, since everything happened in this episode. It will change, because I feel that she has proved herself worthy enough to be in that group. In this episode, we don't get to see Tyrese them, because it's revealed that Tyrese them had left the prison after Glenn had walked them out after Rick went crazy. Next scene that caught my eye was when Daryl and Merle found that family on top of a bridge. Because remember, I said this in my prediction video. I said that Daryl and Merle was going to go to a river or something, and basically they was going to find those humans on top of a bridge fighting out zombies. But this is the only thing I missed in my predictions, that Daryl heard the baby before they even got to the bridge. But they actually seen the human beings when they got to the river. I was right about that part, but I missed the part about him hitting the baby. But but what can I say? It's a predictions and speculation videos. I never said the stuff that I said in the video was gonna happen for a fact. I never said that. Now, if for some reason Daryl tells Merle that you always basically in competition, you always want to compete in something, because when I was talking, Daryl tells him there's a pond called Yellow Jacket Creek, and Merle say no it isn't, and then Merle states, you want to bet? And that's when Daryl tells him you always in competition. And it's revealed that it was Yellow Jacket Creek, because on the bridge you can see a sign where it say Yellow Jacket Creek. Now, once Daryl get on the bridge, we see Daryl fight off zombies. And let me say this. Daryl did the most work, and this guy had a crossbow that he just can't reload like that. He can't reload that crossbow fast like that. And he was able to fight these zombies out. And Merle probably killed 2 zombies. And Merle felt that they didn't have the right to go save those people because he felt like he ain't want to risk his life. They're not worth risking their life for to go save. And now once Daryl saved these people, a lot of people was saying that, yo, we can't understand what they were saying. And it's revealed that these people didn't understand what Daryl and Merle was saying. They didn't understand a word they were saying, just like Daryl and Merle didn't understand what they were saying. But it's revealed that the 2 guys who was fighting was father and son. And let me touch on this. Because in this scene, we see Merle going in this woman's car. Now, it's unknown if this woman was from Woodbury. Because remember I said in my prediction video that this woman was from Woodbury, the one that was pregnant. But it's unknown because we never got to find out exactly where they came from, because Daryl made them leave or told them to leave. But I'm gonna tell you what they said in this episode, because I couldn't understand what they said, so I got a little help. And this help right here was able to help me out. But here goes. When Merle was in the car, the father said, "Get away from my car. We don't have anything." And then the father tells the son, they want to take the car, but the tank is on empty. So the whole time, that car didn't have no gas in it. No gas at all. So that makes me wonder, how is they able to crank that car back up and leave after Daryl told them to leave? I don't know. I really don't know. And next, we see Daryl point a crossbow at Merle's head, because Merle was in the car trying to take stuff, and Merle doesn't realize that Daryl is not that same type of that same little brother that he once had that he could push over. And he tells Daryl that basically tells him about him having that bow pointed at him. And so Merle stops what he's doing, and Daryl tells him to drive off. And another thing I noticed in this scene is when Daryl took that zombie head and closed the trunk on the head, and the head just splattered everywhere, like the blood, like the head just literally squashed easy. And remember, zombies' flesh are rotten, so of course it was gonna squash real easy when he squashed that trunk. And it's another scene that caught my eye and is very important. After they saved those people, Merle talks to Daryl, and he tells Daryl, "You and Sheriff are like this, huh?" No, he said, "You and Sheriff are like this, right?" And he crosses his fingers, meaning they close. He said, "I bet you a penny in a feather of gold that you never told him that we were planning on robbing that camp blind." And Daryl goes on to say, "It didn't happen." And Merle says, "Yeah, it didn't, because I wasn't there to help you." And then when Daryl stops and he says, basically, you was never there from the beginning. Even when we was kids, that's the problem. Even when we was kids, you was never there. You was always either in jail. Jail was most of the time. It was just jail most of the time until he left and went to the army. So he was really never there. And then Daryl tells Merle that he's a piece of shit, and that was funny. And he and Merle, and it's revealed that Merle, and I noticed this. It ain't the fact that Merle doesn't want to go back to the prison. He want to go back, but it's the point that he's scared to go back to the prison because he know he and pissed some people off at that prison, especially Glenn and Michonne, because he refers to Michonne as a black bitch. He say, "I tried to kill a black bitch," and he know what capabilities Michonne have. He knows that Michonne has the same capabilities as he has when it comes to hunting, and he know that she's on that same level. He was even scared of Michonne when he was hunting her down. So that right there shows you that yes, he do fear her in a way, because she has shown to have the same capabilities as he have, and that's something he don't like, and he know what he did to Glenn, and he know Glenn wants revenge, and he's scared of that. And he also got this grudge against Rick, but that's not even the point no more. It's the point. It's the point about him scared to go back, and he refers to Glenn as an Asian, and Daryl corrects him and say he's Korean. So after that, after Daryl calls Merle a piece of shit and basically tell him he's nothing, and he tells Merle that it's your fault why you lost your hand. It basically you deserve what happened to you. You the one got left on top of that roof for what you did, and basically make him face his consequences. And Merle gets very heated, and he rips the back of Daryl's shirt out, and then he sees scars. And now let me get in depth with this, because I was the first person to mention this in my prediction video I did for this episode. The very first one I did, I said that Carol was always getting beat by Ed, and I said that Daryl was always getting beat by his father or abused by his father. I was the first person to call this, and it's revealed that it was true, that I wasn't lying. After Merle rips off the back of Daryl's t-shirt, he looks at Daryl back, and Merle says, "I didn't know he was." And then he pauses, and Daryl says, "Yeah, he did. He did the same to you. That's why you left first." Let me break this down. Merle was the first person out of him and Daryl that was getting beat by their father. Now remember, Daryl said in season 2 that their father was a drunk. Now, it's revealed that Daryl was never really living with his father until their mother died. And Daryl said what happened to his mother. He said that his mother dropped cigarettes while she was in her bed smoking. Also, his mother was a smoker and a drinker. And he said that his mother ends up dropping cigarettes, and she ends up burning up the bed. In the process, it burns her up too. He says it burns her up so bad you can't even tell it's her anymore. And then after that, it's revealed that his father gets custody of him and Merle. His father was a drunk, so his father used to abuse them when they was children. But Merle got tired of it because Merle was constantly in jail. And keywords, that's what Daryl said, because we all know that Merle was in jail before somebody even tried to correct me. Because a lot of people are going to say, well, he was probably gone because he was in jail. No. Because keyword, look what Daryl just said. That's why you left first. You can't leave to go to jail. You can't choose to go to jail. It just happens. It just happens. You just can't say, well, you know what? I'm about to leave and go to jail. It's not going to happen. Merle got tired of it, and Merle left and went to the army. That's right. That's what happened. And after Merle left, their father needed somebody else needed somebody else in that house to take his anger out on. So who else other than Daryl? He beats Daryl instead of Merle because Merle is gone now. And Merle never really came back home because after Merle got kicked out the army, he did 2 years and 3 months in prison. So he was never able to really come home to see what happened to Daryl, or he never even knew how Daryl was doing at that time. And then Merle goes on and he tells Daryl about him leaving and stuff, and he tells Daryl, "I had to, man. I would have killed him otherwise." So yes, he said I would have killed him otherwise. He had to because Merle was getting beat first. Daryl wasn't getting beat at that time until Merle left, and Daryl started getting beat. So Daryl is what you call a abused character. He's abused. You can see the thick scars on his back from his father used to beat him. Now, let's talk about this thing about Rick them going crazy and he's hallucinating about Lori. It's revealed that Rick knows that it's not Lori. He knows this. He knows this because Herschel was talking to him and about Glenn being the leader. I think it's to a certain extent. I think Glenn could be the leader, but in terms of being the leader, or the requirements to being the leader is to be smart. And you can't be done being a leader. Although I understand that you're a human, that you're a human being, and things will get to you, and sometimes might happen. Sometimes might happen when you want revenge, but you still got to think about the safety of the group, because when you want revenge, you want it for yourself. Basically, you're thinking about yourself only, and that's not safe because you have other people. You have other people that's looking up to you for safety in leadership, and that's not good. That's why I like Rick. Although Rick has lost is losing his mind, he haven't quite lost his mind yet, because he did say in this episode that he do know it's really not Lori. And let me touch on this. And Herschel is very smart, because Herschel did tell Glenn about this, and it's not fair going on that warpath, because I trust you with Maggie, my own daughter, my pride. I trust you with her. And I don't want you going on this warpath and getting her killed along with you. And Rick and Herschel talk. And Herschel tells Rick, Glenn, well, he said Glenn's on a warpath. Smart as he is, he can't feel your boots. He tells Rick that. And he says, I'm afraid he's reckless. I'm afraid he's reckless. Exactly. Herschel got it right. He's reckless. He's young. He's young. Very young. And he's not thinking right. He's only thinking about, he's only using revenge as his motive, instead of using his actual brain and trying to think about just the thing, try to think out a plan just in general on how to approach the matter. He's not thinking right. And Rick tells Herschel, I'm seeing Lori. I know it's not really her, but there's got to be a reason. It's got to it's got to mean something, you know. What? And then Herschel tells him, was it her on the phone? And Rick says, yeah, Shane too, and the town. But here's the problem what I noticed with this episode. Well, when Rick is on that phone, Rick was talking to a guy named Jim. Now Jim is from season 1. He was the guy who got bitten by the walker and he got left on the tree. And Rick was talking to all the dead people who died in season 1, including Jackie, Belle, Amy, Lori, Andrea's sister, Jackie, as I just stated. But he says he talked to Shane on the phone. He never talked to Shane. I don't know if this was a plot hole in this episode, but he never got to talk to Shane. Because I remember he did mention Shane, but he didn't call Shane by name. He didn't call him by his name. He was telling Jim that he had to kill his friend, his best friend. But he never said Shane. He just told him about Shane, but he never once talked to Shane. Never. Next, the governor kills Axel. And we got some in this episode overall was great to me, because we got some good character development in this episode. Some very good character development. We got to hear a little more about Axel's backstory before he died. And he goes on to tell Carol that I robbed a gas station with a toy gun, never even took it out my pocket. And so he goes, and then he continues to tell a story. He tells Carol that once he did this, he went to his brother's house. And he said the police come there and they basically tell him how a dumb son of a bitch like you was able to go in there and rob a gas station with a toy gun and get away with it. And so they needed some type of evidence to pin on him that could keep him in prison for a long time. So he says the police go through his brother's house and ramshack the house and find a real gun. I think he said 38 or 39. And he says that they put the gun on him. That's the reason why he was in prison that long. If he would have did it if they would have just used the toy gun as evidence, he would have been in prison, but not that long. Guaranteed. But he ends up getting shot by the governor, and the governor shoots him from a long range, and I guess he uses a sniper rifle. And he ends up dying, of course. And we can see how Carol uses his body as a shield. And we can see how how the governor is attacking the prison now. And we can see how the governor has changed so much, and I ain't hear nobody say this. Michonne, although Michonne is not a good shot, it was more than her shooting at the governor. And the guy wasn't even dodging bullets. He was just sitting there letting the bullets come at him. Although they never hit him, he never even moved. That tells you something. That guy has, man, that guy is really, I ain't gonna say he lost it completely, but he ain't showing no more. He ain't showing no more remorse. It's all in. He's going in now. When you have a guy in the middle of wildfire that's just letting bullets come towards him and he's not even trying to dodge them, man, that's some cold shit. Excuse my language. And I made a mistake. I said in my prediction video that it was going to be the governor shooting at Rick when Rick was on that bridge, but it's revealed that it was Martinez, and Martinez starts shooting at him, and Rick dodges the bullets. And the governor seems to attack, and he also uses a vehicle to bust open the main part of the prison. He bust open 2 gates, and he had zombies in that vehicle. And now once that vehicle get in that prison, those zombies get out, and that right there causes Michonne to take the gun, shoot the gun in the air, cause a distraction so the zombies could see her instead of the rest of the group, and she starts running through them, cutting them with her katana blade to go save Herschel them. So he can put Glenn, so Maggie and them can get Herschel them in the truck with Glenn and them. Also Michonne gets in it too. So Michonne, I think she proved her loyalty this time, and I think Rick should let her in the group because we seen what she did in this episode. I don't care what nobody say. I think she did a good job. So yeah, and now what I told you about Rick. Seems like Rick is back to his senses now. Remember what I said. In order for Rick to change his mind about things he see now, he's gonna have to witness the governor for himself because he never really knew what the governor himself was capable of. But now he knows this guy ain't no game. This guy was trying to kill everybody. And I'm pretty sure he saw when that guy wasn't even trying to dodge bullets. So now he know he's up. He really have to step his game up. They don't even have ammo. The governor have way more ammo than them. Yeah, they might have an all-star team, but when you ain't got no ammo, man, you fucked. Excuse me for my language that time. And at the end of this episode, Governor Daryl comes and Merle ends up saving Rick. And I think Rick, I'm not gonna say he's gonna really consider Merle being part of the group, but I think he might let him stay there. But overall, Daryl did save him. We can see that respect between them two, because we can see when Daryl shoots that zombie in the head with that bow, Rick looks at him and he shakes his head. He bobs his head, and then Daryl looks at him and do the same thing. So we can see that respect that those two have towards each other, and that right there was beautiful, man. I like that scene. So anything else I missed? Because I skipped a lot of shit. And as usual, Maggie is mad about Glenn, about him wanting to go get revenge, and it makes sense to a certain extent. But Glenn do have to realize that at the end of the day, it didn't happen to him. That happened to Maggie. And if Maggie's not mad about it, why should he be out heated up about it, trying to go get revenge? It's his girlfriend, I understand it, but still, I'm just saying, man. And him being reckless like they could get him killed. That's another reason why Maggie was mad at him. So I think I did pretty much everything. I talked about Michonne living in the bus in the beginning. So, and yeah, Glenn talked about the zombies getting in the tubes and in the tongue. I can't pronounce that shit. But yeah, and then we see how the governor wants Laura to be the leader of the group, because that's that little speech that she had gave everybody, and he feels that he's not capable of doing that anymore, because he did shoot that guy in front of them, and that did make the people of Woodbury scared of him. So he feels that Laura is more fit to do it, because he said that he hasn't really got over his daughter's death. He still have to take time to process it and think about it. So yeah. this was a good episode, good character development. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Remember to subscribe, rate, and comment. This video was long, 25 minutes, but I hope you guys enjoyed it. And peace.